here's Brody Brazil.
I'll assume that if you're watching this YouTube channel, you probably already know the history of this hockey franchise. They used to be the Arizona Coyotes. They got sold, a forced sale, to the NHL, who then turned around and sold them to the Smith Entertainment Group. They became the Utah Hockey Club, and I fear that by the time you're watching this video, my comments, this logo might be outdated because we kind of now know, due to that leak on YouTube and the channel change of its name, they're probably going to be called the Utah Mammoth. Right around the corner, anytime soon. We're waiting for that. But in the meantime, they're also making progress on Delta Center. Now, when they had to move this team in the course of one offseason, kind of like at the flip of a switch, Delta Center was good enough to host NHL hockey. It wasn't great, and mostly for the sightlines, right? Like in terms of hosting a big crowd, it does that regularly for the Utah Jazz. But there is some geometry change between a basketball court and a hockey rink, and as you can see here, it's one of those non-standard hockey rink setups with this arena and how the ends have to be basically taken away, and the sightlines are bad. There's basically two main problems with the sightlines for hockey at Delta Center. Number one, if you're sitting in the upper deck, you may see only one of the two hockey goals, and in this case, look at this photo. It's almost like half a goal. You can't even see the far goal. You definitely can't see the near goal, but this is a really bad seat and experience for hockey in Salt Lake City. But again, all of this is getting fixed. They're starting on it, like literally right now. They've already started it. They've just announced exactly what they're doing first and then what they're doing next. So this was one problem with Delta Center, right? Is if you sat up high, you could maybe see one goal or none. But also, if you sat down low, there were these big tarps behind the inboards, and there's only, like maybe 7-8 rows of seating. That's not optimal. That's not a good look. It doesn't have the capacity that it could and should. And so what do? A building that was primarily outfitted for basketball is now being asked to host hockey games on a regular basis. By the way, Salt Lake City is getting the Olympics, and they will play Olympic ice hockey in this venue in the near future, so they've got to figure this out. Delta Center was built in 1991. It's a good building. It has been for a lot of years. Again, designed primarily for basketball and the Jazz. It underwent a huge renovation back in 2017. Kind of the problem is, back then, they had no clue that the NHL would be less than a decade away from coming to Utah. $900 million was approved by the state of Utah with the NHL's arrival back in early 2024. It was approved, and then late 2024, the team relocated. So the Smith Entertainment Group does have some money and funds to work with to upgrade and improve Delta Center and the neighborhood surrounding it, but they definitely understood that they needed to get to fixing Delta Center, upgrading it to hockey standards right away as soon as they could. An NBA court from baseline to baseline, 94 feet. An NHL hockey rink from inboards to inboards, 200 feet. That kind of gives you perspective. And again, with hockey inboards, like you can put seats right behind that. With a basketball baseline, you still need about 10, 15 feet of like press and media before you can actually put seats. So it is a little bit more than 94 feet, but you understand that it's basically a 2-to-1 ratio of how much space and length you need for a hockey rink versus a basketball court. Let me quickly go back and show you some progress. This is a photo from Twitter, and what I understand was about a week ago. Goes to show that they're not messing around here. They're getting right to work at Delta Center, but how exactly are they gonna fix this problem? From what I understand, they're going to lengthen the arena floor by about 12 feet, so maybe cut off some space at the tops of the ends of the first decks. I believe they're also going to raise the arena floor 2 feet for basketball games, so maybe put the basketball court up on risers. But the biggest thing they're going to do is install brand new seating and a new seating system on the ends that has the ability to be on risers so that it can have a steeper pitch for hockey and a little bit more of a flatter pitch for basketball because it has to go the same distance. It's not going to be a completely flat pitch, like to the point where you can't see over the person in front of you, their head, but it is going to be a very steep pitch, it sounds like, for hockey configuration. So starting right now, here's the work that's getting underway this summer. And look, they are lucky at Delta Center that there's no real summer tenant there. They can do this work and not miss a Jazz game and not miss a Mammoth game. Can I just start saying it now? They cannot miss anything because they can do all their work in the summertime. Right now, it's a multi-year project to change the geometry and sightlines of the Arena Bowl. Summer of 2025, that's what they're doing here first, is the riser seat system for the lower bowl, which I'll show you what that means in just a second. This is a custom-built riser system. They say it's the first ever in a major indoor sporting arena in North America. Should that worry you a little bit? Like this has never been done before, now we're trying it? No, it doesn't seem too complex, right? And they do need to change the system over from basketball to hockey, maybe even in the same day sometimes, but they need this changeover to happen quickly. So they need something that is custom built, that is going to work, and that is designed specifically for Delta Center. It's a 12-foot variance in elevation between NHL and NBA configurations, meaning that one seat and its elevation, like for hockey, is going to be a 12-foot difference than basketball. I'll show you in just a second. It's easier to show you than try and explain to you what that means. But yeah, they need this riser system to actually kind of change the configuration of the seating at Delta Center so that hockey and basketball fans on the ends, right? Because the width of a basketball court and the width of a hockey rink are not ever really the problem. It's the length. So here's the new seating risers for the end zones of hockey. And you can see how steep that is, right? There's the change, there's the difference in approximately 12 feet. Let's say that front row, right, is 12 feet lower for hockey than it would be for basketball. That same row is going to be 12 feet higher because those individual rows, they're kind of like elevators. They can go up and down and change the pitch of the seating configuration. Here's what basketball looks like. See that front row? It's 12 feet higher now. And what they've done is added 3 more rows temporarily in front of it. You know what? This would have been a perfect Telestrator video, and I didn't even bust it out. You all know I love the Telestrator. Didn't even use it on this one. It's a brand new me. I'm refraining from the Telestrator. So you've seen them individually. Now let's take a look at them side by side. Yeah, the basketball court here on the bottom, the hoops and the baselines are a lot closer together. In hockey, it's stretched out. So yeah, much steeper pitch for hockey, a little bit more shallow with some more rows and some more capacity for basketball. It's simple to understand, right? Like when you can see this, it is so hard to actually explain in words what that means. So eventually, right? I know what you're thinking. So you're fixing the lower deck problem of the end zones and the pitch and all that stuff. What about the upper deck? Now, I don't exactly know how they're going to tackle that. Maybe by changing the arena floor and its dimensions and its height and its elevation. Maybe some of that's going to change the sightlines for the second deck. But eventually they say, after a couple summers here, every seat in the arena is going to have an unobstructed view of the hockey rink and both goals. So they are doing some pretty intricate work here to change how Delta Center looks and how the seats are and where the rink is. So they're going to fix this problem for the upper deck too. They just haven't got that far yet. They haven't explained that part yet. This summer, it's all about the lower deck and a couple of other things. Eventually, the hockey capacity is going from 11,000 right now, which is not a lot. It can't be because there are some obstructed views and seats, up to 17,000. Again, all of those seats with perfect views. Basketball seating is going to go from 18,200 to nearly 19,000 seats. So the arena does benefit, right, from an increased capacity. Restroom capacity in the building also going up 12% with these improvements. They're also installing 4 dehumidifiers for ice creation and maintenance. And I got to tell you, most people don't understand, well, what does that mean? Why is that important? A lot of times when you think about good hockey ice, they think, how cold is it? How cold? The colder it is, the better the ice surface. That's probably the best way to put it. It actually has more to do with humidity. And the drier it is, you need cold, right? That's obvious. But you also need dry air to have really good hockey ice. And so dehumidifiers will take that humidity and moisture out of the air inside Delta Center. It'll make a drier environment and climate, which it should be pretty dry up in the mountains anyway, but it's going to dry out the building to make the best ice possible. So 4 dehumidifiers, that's huge for hockey. They're adding a 450 stall parking garage to the side of Delta Center. They're kind of building it right into the building. And they're also going to reconfigure the main entrance. It's now going to be an east-facing main entrance when they eventually do this, so that it will kind of face that arena district that they're eventually going to build, which kind of does better connect it to downtown Salt Lake City. Here are my takeaways. Number 1, as I told you before, Salt Lake City is hosting the 2034 Olympics, and Delta Center is the main hockey venue. And that's why the state decided they were going to give some money to this project. That's obviously one of the reasons why Smith Entertainment Group is already on this and trying to fix the seating configuration. That's kind of a number 1 deal. I get it. They want to do the real estate thing. They want to do the development outside the building. They'll get to that, but they understood they needed to fix this building ASAP. They literally just got the hockey team like about a year ago, maybe even less than a year ago, and they're already jumping on this. I do appreciate that. All the other work is going to require, they say, about 2 more summers. So likely 26 and 27 after 27, it's done. But they're also saying here, we're only doing it 1 summer at a time in terms of what we're doing and when we're doing it and the sequence of what we're doing here. So I can also appreciate that. They're not trying to get too far ahead of themselves. I mentioned before that the arena floor is being extended, I think 12 total feet and raised 2 feet for the NBA. So make no mistake, this is a large-scale construction project. This isn't just installing new seats. There's some concrete to be poured. There's some excavation to be done. This is serious work inside Delta Center. And I'll lastly end it with this. I appreciate upgrades to a building that people like, in a location that they like, in a building that was just totally overhauled less than a decade ago. The building apparently has really good bones, right? If you're in real estate, that term should resonate. A building has really good bones, so you want to keep it. You want to upgrade it. You want to make sure that it's a really good deal for hockey fans and basketball fans. And look, there was a lot thrown on the Smith Entertainment Group of, can you buy the team right now? Can you name the team right now? Can you fix Delta Center right now? They have had a laundry list of things to do, and pretty diligently they're getting to them one by one. I certainly wish the name hadn't kind of leaked out like it did with the whole YouTube channel renaming and the Mammoth situation, and I wish the Yeti part would have worked out better. I would have loved if they were the Utah Yeti. I think that's the preference for most people. But it turns out they're doing the best they can. They're checking one thing off at a time of the boxes here, and so they're making a lot of progress. And although I would still love to have the Arizona Coyotes, right? I hate to see teams have to move because of bad ownership situations. I can at least appreciate that somebody is trying to take care of this franchise and do the very best for a brand new fan base in Salt Lake City. Let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. Also, thumbs up while you're down there. That helps me, this video, and this channel. And speaking of the channel, are you subscribing? I would hope so, but just in case you're not, this friendly reminder, hit that subscribe button right now down below so I can definitely see you back here next time.